Hi, Lisa. We're just waiting for people to join.
Okay. Sounds like you're at a party.
I'm at a restaurant for my best friend's birthday, so I won't be on the call long. Maybe, maybe not. Let's see.
Okay.
So, yeah. But yeah, enjoy
Okay.
the music. I'll
Sure.
leave it open. Why not?
Whoa, that's loud.
There we go. Hey, Ramen.
Hey,
Waiting
sorry, I
for
was having
everybody
a
to
hard time
join. If we can start
getting the
starting at 2
link.
o'clock on the dot, that would be better.
Yeah, there's a lot of background noise where you're at, Nita.
I know I left it open because nobody was on the call.
Okay.
Uh, I've got
Well,
I
folks,
got people
We're back.
I
We're
got
ready.
people I got people
yeah.
telling me they're trying to get in.
They should be able to. This call is not. They should be able to get in fine.
Okay, well
Yeah.
Wilson's in.
Yeah, like I don't have any restrictions on it for admittance.
All right. Well, thank you for opening up the room. The link wasn't populating into my email, so I was like struggling there for a minute. But welcome to our next Saturday meeting, Hip Hop Congress, International Check-ins, and weekly updates. Lots happening around the world, and this is what we do to tap in with each other. So we're gonna do some check-ins on a Hip Hop Congress business level. Any events you have coming up, any events that you had in the past week. We'll keep it connected to that. Any questions that you have for the network that you need information on or feedback about. We have our international conference set August 28th through 30th in Sacramento, California, and then so keep the check-ins. Not so much personal check-ins, but we'll save that to the end. But more business check-ins. Then we'll have the open conversation, and then we can do personal checkouts and final thoughts for that. I think that'll help us get through the time where everybody can introduce themselves in a timely manner. We'll try to keep our check-ins limited to 3 minutes. Sound good, everyone? Mine should be short. We have a event coming up next Saturday. That'll be right after this meeting. This is in San Mateo County, Afro Bushido Academy. This is going to be like a kids demo class. We're going to be showing. We're going to have a community barbecue, showing the RAF wrestling and doing a open mat session with martial arts, and then we're showing the movie Foxcatcher, which was a 2014 film based off of Mark and Dave Schultz, who were one of whom Dave Schultz was murdered by John DuPont of the DuPont paint family. And This happened like 30 years ago. And The result was that the Rudy's wrestling shoe was created off of the settlement money for that. But it's an incredible story that was turned into a film starring Channing Tatum, Steve Carell, and Mark Ruffalo. So we'll be screening that as well. Didn't get some of the local funding grants that we were hoping to get, but we're just kind of still grinding. I think I'm seeing a lot of similar sentiments on the challenge of getting funding for hip hop driven initiatives, and these are just throughout our network. From folks like Manny Faces, who was at our Atlanta conference, and then just being like co-signed by folks like Julie C, who was Hip Hop Congress in Seattle, Elliot Gann, who's today's Future Sound. Like everybody's kind of struggling at this point in getting the support, the funding support from as hip hop organizations, and so it just kind of lends credence to this idea that we really need to come together and look out for each other as opposed to competing for each other. Because if we do have a unified front, the stronger we can become. And Hip Hop Congress is still an organization in position to do that. We just have to get clear on all of that structure and practice getting organized in that way, which we are doing every week on these calls. So that is my update for our chapter here. Nationally, I'll let Anita uh, give us a little update on the conference and anything else. So I will. I see your hand, Lisa, but I do want to kind of get through the XCOM announcements, and then we'll continue on. So Anita, if you can take over at this point.
Peace, peace, peace. Yeah. So just to follow through and reiterate what Ramen just said, we are changing the format. The format of these calls will be the executive check-in will be first. So any updates we have from the national board, from the XCOM committee, will be what we do first. So with that said, the conference. The conference is going to be August 28th through the 30th in Sacramento, California, and it is hosted by the Auburn chapter of Hip Hop Congress.
You went mute for a minute. Anyone else? Is that just me?
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Oh, okay, sorry. It automatically muted somehow. I don't know. Um, Even though I got into a quieter place, but yeah. So it's hosted by the Auburn chapter of Hip Hop Congress, and what else was I gonna say? The conference. Right now we are taking workshop suggestions. So if there's someone in the Sacramento area, or who's able to, or someone you think that needs to be on our radar, please share that with us. You have my email. I'll make sure it's in the chat. What else is there? Oh, and in the Hip Hop Congress chat on Instagram, you can always put suggestions into there, and any other information that you want us to know, and just start the conversation. If you want to, talk about anything or get anything off your chest, as far as I won't say get anything off your chest, but if you want to share any details about your chapter or what's going on or any events, please put that in the chat. If you come up with anything new, the chat is where it's at, because I think that's a really good place for us to connect throughout the week when we're not on our calls for our mic check. Hold on one second. Excuse me. Can you turn that down, please? The music, yes. I'm on the phone. Can you turn the music down, please? But yeah, so if we could please, and then, you're going to be seeing the Eventbrite link. Ramen, I'm sorry. I sent it to the email again, and I don't know what's happening, because it tells me like I don't have to log in, but then I do, so that's going to be a situation. But as soon as I have the Eventbrite link, I will have that up and sent out to you guys. And what other event updates are there? That's pretty much it right now. We are looking for a venue. We're going to determine a venue on Monday for our Saturday for the conference. So right now, that's really what it is figuring out where we're going to have it, where we're and what, yeah, where, because we have a lot of venues that have come up for the Sacramento, or for the Auburn conference, which is great. But now we just kind of got to figure out which one is going to be the best for us. So just wanted to put that out there. Those are the things off the top of my head, because I am out. It's Tiffany's birthday, so happy birthday to Tiffany. I will also not be on the call at all next week, because we're going to be in Ohio for Tiffany's birthday. But yeah, so those are the main things. The Columbus chapter of Hip Hop Congress, really excited for that to start this week. I think that's pretty much it as far as updates from the conference and me and everything like that. Sorry, this was so noise ridden. I'm in motion, so I do apologize. Normally, I don't have so much background noise, but if you have any questions for me, please put them in chat. I will put my contact in there. And yeah, I don't know why you're dropping, Lisa. I'm sorry. I don't know if that's like a connectivity issue for you, or I don't know.
One one
Zimmerman,
more one more
I just
announcement.
announcement.
Well, I'm getting
Well,
an
I'm getting
echo.
an echo. Oh,
Was just that XCOM is meeting to clarify the onboarding process for new chapters and fiscal sponsorship and whatnot. So that is something that came up in real time for us to make sure that we're very clear on when it comes to starting new chapters, getting fiscal sponsorship, and that onboarding process, uh, which is for any new chapters. So stay tuned on that.
yes. Thank you for that. Yeah, yes, that's another process. So updating the processes and putting them out there for you guys. We will be hosting at least one chapter head call before the conference. So please make sure you pay attention to your emails or call or text messages, however we get the message to you, which means that's how we're going to get the message to you. It's going to be email, text, and phone call if we have to, for a chapter lead call for all of you. So we'll do those updates and then just make sure you're watching your email for those announcements and those schedule opportunities. And then Rama, before I go back on mute, um, if we could, you and I talk maybe tomorrow, that would be cool. Just brief, maybe like an hour, half an hour, maybe more like a half an hour. Just put that in your ear because I keep
Okay,
forgetting to ask you to do that. So, like right now is the perfect time. So yeah, if we could
all
just
good.
take an hour between you and me. But yeah, that's it. And if you have questions, you guys know my number and all of that. And yeah, about to finish celebrating Tiffany's birthday. And those who don't know, Tiffany's my best friend, but she also does our HHC magazine, design work, and all of that good jazz. So yeah, so that's it.
Happy
And I'll
birthday, Tiffany.
thank you. So thank you guys, and I love y'all. And I'm going to mute, and I will let you know when I drop.
All
All
right,
right.
let's go to DeFranco.
Peace and blessings, y'all. Unfortunate update I have today is that I'm sick and feeling like crap. So I am tapped in, tuned in. Won't be much contribution. Um, Nothing new on the LA front. Just continuing to work on some of the stuff we've been working on. But you know, I am involved with the XCOM and the conference and working behind the scenes to make sure our network is strong. So just know that, and I'm always open to any collaborations out here in LA. If you come to visit or you want to set something up, before you do, just reach out to me. I will leave it at that. Pass it to back to you, Rahman, and I guess we're gonna go from there. I'm the last
Okay.
one on the XCOM, right?
Yeah. And before I pass it to Lisa, I did want to mention too, we got the Strutters Room Master Camp coming up June 14th in San Francisco through the 20th at the African American Art and Culture Complex. So that's what's happening up there in Frisco that we're gearing up for. Um, so, Lisa, we will pass the mic to you next.
Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Let's see if I can get my camera on. Let myself be seen. No, it's still busy. It's still 70 plus hours a week. I'm still working off a phone that I have been for the last 14 months. Should be getting a new laptop any point in time. The new hierarchy, new crew that's running everything here with the Alliance in the United States. Yeah, things are moving quickly. I'm hoping to be included in more of their conversations and activities because of my connections, especially with preservation and protection of indigenous groups across the United States. One of which, well, both of which are the two law firms that have been protecting and defending indigenous people's rights. One of them was Ray Hillenbrand, a former Fortune 500 fellow. I actually used to work for his daughter when I first moved to San Francisco and made my way as a professional housemaster for the homes of the wealthy while I was getting my certificates as a ballroom dance specialist, artist, and professional competitor. So, and the other, Scott Crowell, he and my brother Kirk shared a house for about 20 years. And he is the top legal aid to indigenous groups from Baja up to Ketchikan, and has won many lawsuits for them, enabling them to get licenses. I'm not talking just for gambling establishments, but for businesses of all kinds, which before the federal government would not allow. And of course, both those guys are incredibly busy because, of course, with our present government, if you're not strictly white looking, you're under attack. And lots of other business going on. As far as what's happening with UnityNet Africa, getting more people coming into the system all the time. I had my first meeting with Enbu University yesterday. They finally received a letter from Tuskegee University, and I was advising them as to the activities that we have been planning with Ledbetter Industries or Ledbetter Innovative Technologies. There are a number of studies that we've already made preparations for. So at this point, finally, after so much waiting, we're getting the beginnings of building the bureaucracy within the government departments of Kenya to start with improvement programs that, oh, hey, Emil, you're out shopping, okay. With improvement programs based on development, protection of culture, working with indigenous groups in Western Kenya, dealing with their climate-based issues of the warming of Lake Victoria, all kinds of stuff. I could go on for miles and miles. On the other hand, in the DR Congo, I'm sure people have been hearing about the Ebola outbreak. I've been getting lots of video, lots of images the entire time I've been working with peeps there regarding massive amounts of death and destruction that have been going on as a result of the conflict. But with the Ebola, I've only seen one person. And I wasn't certain if they had Ebola or if they got shot in the chest. So as far as that's concerned, there are those of us who think that Ebola outbreak there is simply a rumor to try to close everything up and see what they can do to destroy the treaties that have been signed. In the meantime, we've mapped over 47 locations in the Eastern Congo in preparation for 3 different programs. One, healthcare, get more field hospitals, mobile units, clinics out there. The next is remediation of the water and the soil in places where they've been poisoned by illegal mining practices. And the third, setting up transit routes for product directly from Central Africa to shipping lanes. So they can actually be in charge of selling their own stuff rather than these colonial nations that supposedly left after World War II, but still have a huge hold on the wealth that's actually there and have been keeping the people poor for a good long while. So, is there opposition? Yes. Are there people coming to me for other things? Yes. There are those who want to support the treaty as well. And so we've been getting a lot of very interesting offers, and I'm having to pull people from all different directions to help set up methods by which we can add support and bring that in. So um, at this point in time, I'm also talking on 2 international panels every week. And that part is doing pretty well. They actually call me on the phone to ask me if I'm going to be there the next day or later on that day. So I guess they like what I've got to say. I don't know. Or maybe it's because I'm the only female who's ever on these panels. I'm sure there are lots of you who can reflect that business, but at this point in time, most of the peeps we're talking to are very cooperative. In the newer nations, where I'm trying to connect with community ambassadors and diaspora, we only have a couple places where they're wondering just who the hell we are. But then once they get into mapping meetings and see what our computer specialists can do, they're like, wow, when can I meet with you again? Which is pretty cool, especially after what they hear, what we have to say about building, well, sensitizing charity groups into building nonprofit collaborative systems where they can take the information they already gather every single day and turn it into power. Exchanging that information for land, buildings, tools, equipment, services of all kinds, just like we do here in the United States and all across the world in areas that haven't been torn to shreds by bigger countries wanting to, steal the wealth out from under our feet and leave us with a mess. So, and of course, if things keep going the way we're seeing, well, we might be in that position. I don't know. All I know is I'm pedaling as fast as I can. I did get contacted today by the new director of the alliance here in the United States. His name's Barry. And he asked me for my address so he can ship me a new laptop, which they've been telling me for months they have. So I'm going to get a new laptop that has already been loaded with all the different things I need, including our private internet service that we'll be using and methods by which to transfer my data. I'm going to be talking with, like I said, Raza at 2:00 today. And I want to encourage you guys to speak with him about fundraising. Where we're talking basic crowdfunding. Apparently, this guy is a wizard at putting that together. And he's got lots of sources, lots of partners out there. So when I talk with him today, I'll see if I can't talk him into coming back in here this next week. So let's see. Anything that I'm missing except a life of my own? No. It's really incredibly busy. I feel swept up in it all. Lots of different big players in all of this, and making connections left and right for those who are going to assist in ending this horrid business that have been going on in all these regions where weaker nations have a lot of wealth under their soil and have been just put upon by big nations like China, Russia, United States. And the more I see, the more I don't like certain things about the nation that I'm living in, I admit. And the more I look at other people and go, so what do you think? When I'm kind of afraid to say it out loud, because the amount of differing opinions out there, the amount of a divide impera that is going on, that's being funded by billionaires to try to keep us attacking each other so much that we don't notice all the crap that they're doing. I'm noticing. So am I making a nuisance of myself with certain individuals? Yes, I am. But I consider that a good battle to fight. I've got people coming up and asking me, how are you able to find out who's a bot and who's not? And I show them. So they're starting to gather and do that work for me, especially in Facebook, and of course on Elon Musk's X program. It's actually incredibly easy to do. When I found it, I was stunned. So I started doing it more often, and then I had people starting to ask, "Can you show us how you can do this?" Oh, it's not that hard. You just do X, Y, and Z, and then you find out that they're not Americans like they claim to be, and they're people who are being paid from all across the planet to come in and foment hate and poke at people and say that they're to blame, so that everybody gets angry at whoever. You know, it's kind of a giant pig pile. But as far as my own personal state, yeah, I'm still stuck in this rut of lots and lots of hours a week. Um, I'm trying to see if I can fit in certain things as I can. I barely got finished in time last Sunday to see part of Beta Breakers. I was stunned. They had over 30,000 people this year. Usually we're between like 18 and 20,000. Over 30,000. The streets were crammed with people in costumes, people who weren't running. They were walking up that Hay Street hill. So I was really, really pleased to see that happen, because in a way, that's a protest. And if enjoying yourself is a protest, then please, everybody, enjoy. So let me see who's here that I can go ahead and pass things to. Um, oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Okay. Well, we've got Abraham Kawa. We've got Wilson. Wilson, I remember you. I think I've interviewed you before. So X, Y, and Z. Okay. So Wilson, are you able to open up your mic and step forward? That would be great. No? I don't see any motion there. Okay. Let's try Artemis. That's a man I know. Passing it on.
Yo, what up, everybody? So I'm late. I'm sorry I'm late and my voice is a little messed up. I was performing last night and I am just now kind of recovering. Let me got my camera on. Yeah, hope everybody had a productive week. I just got back in from Baltimore. Uh I'm in the DC area for those who don't know. Performed with my band, we did 4 sets, and it was at this Irish pub. And and I'm bringing this up because, it was fun, it was cool. But sometimes in certain spots and bars, in Baltimore, it was fun. It's like in Fells Point. It's like, if you know Baltimore, Fells Point is like one of the popular areas in the city. Um, One thing that I always keep in back of my mind when you go out and like when we go out and play some of these places sometimes is they're they're not hip hop crowds for the most part. You get a lot of people that are drunken and want to kind of act a fool out there. So I try to be mindful of that, the safety of the band, always keep my eye out for things. Nothing happened, of course, but the thing is, whenever you like in some of those spaces, people just kind of like violating spaces or probably not even respecting the music because it's just to the degrees to the degree sometimes you're just background music, and at the same time you get people who are just there to like enjoy themselves. We had quite a few people there for that, so that was cool. But we played like 4 sets, and we were all tired. And that drive back from Baltimore to DC is never. Um, it's not like it's 20 minutes. It is always about a good 40 to maybe 50 minutes. So there's that. Um, let's see. Been working some more on the my Gold Brick Olympics company. I haven't talked about it in a minute lately. Been coming up with a lot more designs for that. A friend of mine who does designs for this thing called Shaolin Jazz. Matter of fact, Shaolin Jazz, they take a lot of old school movies and curate them with a lot of hip hop music. They've been like going a lot of places around in the states. Matter of fact, is Nita's here, right? Because I just got in not too long ago. Yeah, next time is she here? Or she's not in here. Okay. I was gonna tell her they go down to Austin often now from what I know and premiere like these hip hop infused old school movies like The Last Dragon or Indiana Jones, all these different kinds of movies, and it's pretty dope. One of the guys that works with that, he's working with me on some a few of the designs and consulting. So that's been dope. Um, what else? Uh, I can't say too much because I keep just updating you guys with the band stuff and everything. Um, Definitely gonna get started on my health journey. Making it. I'm already started, but like it's going to be hardcore probably like around in June after I clear my schedule a lot more, able to do some more. And yeah, that's about it. I don't have too much else to say. That's my check-in, and I guess I'm gonna pass it. I'll just think of something else I'm gonna check out. Who hasn't gone? Because I just got here. Uh, Emil, have you
We
gone already?
uh, Emil put a message in the chat that he was out and just listening for today. We haven't heard from Wilson, Marquez, and Abraham so
Okay,
far.
I'll pass it to Marquez then.
All right, and then Marquez, we said at the beginning of the call, um, keep the check-ins about Hip Hop Congress business, and then when we get to the checkouts, then we can go into the personal and devotionals and all of that type of stuff. All right. So yeah, let us know what's happening on the activism tip or on Hip Hop Congress tip. It's yours.
Just being blessed another day of life. Smiley day, everybody. Hope you guys are celebrating everybody for being smiley about life existence. Still mainly just tapped in to see what's going on with all my loved ones. And the main update, I guess, is I got a bullshit letter the other day from the captain of the sheriff department. They ain't never called me back regarding a couple of dumb female deputies was acting dumb and refused to give me their badge numbers and information. And then she tried to say that their conduct was good. I don't know. That's a conflict of courtesy and respect of the policy and with the badge and what it stands for. So, gonna be adjusting that shit coming up. But that's the main thing. I recently got that letter. Got my bathtub. We had no damn hot water for about 2 damn weeks, but they finally fixed that conveniently at their time. We gonna work on that too. Other than that, just being thankful for another day of life. Just tapped in to say what's up to all my loved ones. That's pretty much it for me. And pass it to my brother DeFranco.
All right, for sure. Um, you want to pass it to we got Enoch, Abraham, or Wilson?
Say again.
We can pass it to. We haven't heard from Enoch, Abraham, or Wilson. If any of them want to unmute or yeah.
Pass it to Abraham.
All right, Abraham, are you able to unmute? or let us know in the chat if you haven't already. Okay. Oh, I see it in the chat. So I'll just read what you wrote in the chat. Good day, everyone. I'm Abraham Kawa from Liberia. Welcome. Student at University of Liberia, majoring in agriculture, research, and extension education. I'm glad to be with you. I've been trying to open a grassroots organization in Liberia, but don't have a sponsor or donors. I believe internship will help me in my endeavor. All right. Um, and then Lisa's response, contacting community ambassadors in the area for UnityNet. Yeah, it sounds like if your focus is on um, agriculture, UnityNet is the network to build with. If you have any sort of cultural arts program with your group out there, Hip Hop Congress can be a resource for you in that. So, yeah, that's what we specialize in. Um, and so, yeah, and then Lisa is the liaison between both organizations. So, but welcome to Hip Hop Congress. Would you like to say a few words? Looks like you're unmuted. So, Abraham, you want to say a few words? Not hearing you. At least I'm not. Okay, could be a connection issue, but that's okay. We can. It was good. Thanks for using the chat to introduce yourself, Lisa.
Yeah, no, Abraham, feel free to introduce yourself. We are active in Liberia. We've been working with the community ambassadors there to start mapping zones in order to increase transportability for groups, and of course agribusiness from all across the interior. And of course, there's other programs that will be coming in. The BIPOCA Alliance, which is another one of the groups that I'm working with, is now in Uganda negotiating development there. So while UnityNet is organizing charities into collaborative systems on the ground, we're also advising them to take a look at what the BIPOCA Alliance is doing on their pages that are within our network. And they give updates on the systems and the development monies that are going to be going to nations of all different kinds. And of course, Liberia is one of them. They're in line for negotiations as well. So yeah, you can contact me on WhatsApp if you need to. I'll put my information in the chat so you can do that and find out just how deep we're really going, as we're going all the way, if we possibly can, and picking up all kinds of partners along the way. So that alliance is getting bigger all the time. Okay, go ahead, Rahman.
Okay. Um, yeah. So that is that. I just remembered that on the list of things to do, we will be sending out a newsletter, um, our first Hip Hop Congress newsletter in a hot minute. That will include the announcement for the conference, the announcement for the master camp, but also and most importantly, an opt-in landing page to receive ongoing newsletters from Hip Hop Community and as well as Hip Hop Education Center and Hip Hop Congress. And so you can, when that goes out, if you are not signed up for the newsletter, you can do so at our website on hiphopcongress.com. Um, and and so I know it's been a while. If you're not sure, you can always just sign up again or whatnot. But if you're getting if you are signed up on Hip Hop Community, you should already have received that. Or will be receiving it through our email list, but look for that opt-in the next week. Okay. We have not heard from, let's see, Wilson, and it looks like Wilson is the last person that we have not checked in with. If you want to unmute, you can also give your update in the chat. I know you said, okay, Wilson, coordinator of ADIPD platform for disability in Congo. Okay, South Kivu. All right. We got your update there. No, I hadn't heard about the Ebola outbreak. That's pretty scary. Um, Hopefully that is contained. But yeah, I hadn't heard of that. I don't know if anybody else had in Western media. Maybe I was out of the loop.
Well, truthfully, I've only seen, like I said, images of one person who I was told had Ebola. From the way the guy was on his back with blood coming out his mouth, he looked like he could have been shot in the chest.
Yeah,
For all I know.
yeah,
Whereas Ebola, I mean, basically you have parts that are rotten and start dropping out all over the place, and that happens at a pretty fast rate. So, yeah, I've seen hundreds, if not thousands, of bodies of people who have fallen in the course of the war. People who have been forced into servitude, into mining in places that are totally unsafe, where they wind up getting buried alive. A lot of that has gone on. But with this Ebola thing, they basically have it so they've locked out any real information coming through, even with those of us who are talking with people on the ground. So I'm
mm-hmm,
hearing more warnings about Ebola than I'm actually seeing signs of Ebola.
mm-hmm,
To the point where I'm thinking that it might be a rumor to try to halt
mm-hmm,
progress for what it is that we're doing there. So
mm-hmm.
I don't know for sure. The jury's still out.
Ian, screw this.
Still trying to gather
Okay.
information.
All right.
Okay.
Um, well, okay. So that is everybody has checked in. Unless Emil, you want to unmute, but no worries if you can't. Oh, who do we just have popped in here? Kiza is here. Kiza, you just popped in. We were wrapping up our personal updates. If you would like to introduce yourself, you can do so at this time. Welcome to Hip Hop Congress. You
Yes,
can let us. Hello.
yes, hello.
Hi. Tell us where you're tuning in from and how you heard about Hip Hop Congress and what you do, where you're at.
Thank you. My name is Kiza Chisco, from Kenya, based in Kakuma refugee camp, and I work with YETC, Youth Empowerment and Talent Center, as a founder and the CEO. It's a community-based non-profit organization, illegal registration by the government of Kenya. At YETC, we are doing education for orphans and vulnerable children, so that they have been left down. Some of them, they don't have the opportunity to go to school. This is why we keep them with a basic education. Also, we do feeding program for them. They cannot concentrate on education once their stomach is empty. This is why we are still doing our self-contribution as a YTC members to make sure our children getting something to put their stomach to be movement. We are doing talent development. In talent development, we do music, we teach youth how to dance, sing, we do modeling to keep young girls to be self-confidence. Also, we do drama, comedy, and filmmaking and talent development. Our aim is to make sure every youth learn about music and build self-confidence in the future. We do also entrepreneurship for vulnerable women to empower them with some idea of entrepreneurship. And we have already do some of the training about how they can lead a small business. After that, we have seen we don't have the opportunity or resources to give them some of the loan or the micro loan. And we decided to start by the banking table, where we contribute every week on Friday 200 Kenya shillings. And we have get a number of 44 vulnerable women where they are contributing 2,000. And once it is Friday, we go to get that 8,400. We go to distribute it or divide it by 2. Everyone take 4,200. And they say, just take this small amount and go to start a small business. You can buy food, you can buy sugar, soap, or the clothes of the children. So that on next Friday, you can bring us a 200 to contribute for others. So that is the things we are doing in Kakuma refugee camp. And we are having an event for talent showcase for our youth every Saturday. And today we are having an event. And every youth have come to showcase his talent, and we need to empower them so that music has come to build self-confidence. It's built peace, unity, because in Kakuma refugee camp is more than 300,000 refugees, and from different countries and different tribes. So we bring youth together to learn about music so that they can keep something and change their life through music. As that we are doing Kakuma refugee camp. Thank you.
Thank you. Wow, sounds like you're doing amazing stuff out there. Please send us any links that you have, any videos or any pages that you use to promote the work that you do. One of the things we've talked about in the past, and I'll shout out Emil on this one too, because he's been doing a lot of organizing work on the continent of Africa. Is really connecting the African voice, through collaborations, music collaborations. We had a lot of interest in putting something together like that could, start online, start in a virtual space, um, and be distributed through our global network. I know that we have a Google Drive where we're starting to collect music, but we also have we do have a chapter out in Kenya, Motivated Mindset Dancers. Um, Not sure how close they are to you, but if we can connect like-minded organizers virtually at first, uh, and start to build those relationships, that is the key factor in the economic solution and power building that has come up again and again, is establishing relationships. And I saw your update there too, Abraham, about creating meaningful partnerships. So that is what we are in position to do. And these weekly calls are to help facilitate that. So if you do have social media and links, please share them in the chat so that we can become familiar with that. and yeah, really, really glad that you're here to share your work with us, and hopefully we can figure out ways to support you, even if it's just through our presence and relationship building to help support your work. All right, we got a couple more folks in the room. What up, Stephanie? Nice to see you here. Shout out Hip Hop Congress Atlanta. I will pass the mic to you. Let us know how you doing, what's going on in the ATL, any new updates, and yeah, mic is yours. Take it away.
Hey, how's everybody? I hope everybody's well. Yes, my name is Stephanie. I also go by the name of Lady Crow. I'm a dancer, I'm a visual artist, but dancing has been my prominent art form that I've been leaning much on to my degrees in fine arts. I am a alum of Spelman College, class of 2012. I've been in Atlanta for about 10 plus years. This is my first time here in the Hip Hop Congress meeting. I've been meaning to attend for some time now. um, and regarding to what's going on so far, I think since our last meeting, right now, I think the only thing that we have going on, and as far as Hip Hop Congress in Atlanta, is there's a graffiti exhibition that's coming up next month. Um, a couple of events that we were going to have this past year, we had to postpone it and we're going to push it back to possibly the fall. Because we're also trying to do some things involving Spelman and maybe some other parts in the future of the rest of the AUC, the Atlanta University Center with Clark Atlanta and Morehouse and Morris Brown, hopefully. Um, but the events that we had was Denim Day. That's the one that's the fashion show that this will be our second year having it. So we're pushing it later on the fall for that one. And that one is involving with Sexual Assault Awareness Month, which is in April. But instead, we may have it in October for Domestic Violence Awareness Month. So we'll see what happens. We are also planning to do an interview with one of the women in this dance style that they do down here called Yeek. I don't know if any of you guys know what yeeking is. It is a dance style that we do down here in Atlanta. It's born from down here. I know some of the dance movements some of you guys have seen in videos and have done it throughout your lifespan, whether it's the bankhead bounce or um, any of the movements that you would see in yeeking. I think that's something that maybe later on we can share in the future in regarding to that dance style. But anyways, she is someone that is pivotal within um, that culture. Here in Atlanta, she holds festivals called Yeek Fest every year around like September-ish. So we're planning to do an interview with her, possibly alongside with other women in the culture too. We'll see how this plays out. And then the other event that we were going to have that we also had to push back was the event for women in hip hop. I know I'm like talking about women this, women that. I'm very passionate about women in hip hop, as you can see. So I literally advocate and I push a lot of that on my end personally. Um, but with this project, it was supposed to be also in collaboration with Spelman College with their Spelman Women in Hip Hop collective organization on campus. And due to the fact that some of the girls were graduating and they had reached capacity, which is definitely understandable. So we wanted to just honor the women who, especially here in Atlanta, for, you know, being an inspiration and then paving the way for those of us, you know, that I don't want to say under them, but though they're the ones that came before us. So we just want to honor these women. And some of them may be younger as well, but they've been in it for a while as well. So we are just acknowledging from different generations as well, women in hip hop that practice different elements of the culture and within the culture. So that's about it of what I have so far right now. Um, I'm not sure. Maybe one of these days Kelly will hop in and she can give you some more emphasis on other things that we may end up doing that may pop up. So, so yeah, I think that's all I have. It's nice to meet you all. What up, Emil? Um, and yeah.
Thank you, Lady Crow, for that great informative update for those that aren't familiar with what goes down in Atlanta. Yes, it was an incredible time at the conference there last year. Got a chance to experience a lot of what you described here. And it's great to have you on this call. That's exactly what these calls are for, is to get updates just like that. So we got Tristan who just joined. Tristan, if you want to give an update or how things are going for you. Tristan is one of our incredible network members who works as a translator for a lot of organizations and different cultures in Africa. So, Tristan, yes, if you want to give your update, we'll pass the mic to you. Thanks for being here. And Tristan, if you're able to unmute or you can let us know in the chat if that's not happening. Thank you for those links there, Kiza. Let's make sure that we connect Emil. Let's make sure we connect with Kiza out there. See the TikTok. Okay, cool. Somebody unmute. Okay. Yeah, I will just reiterate. Hip Hop Community is the platform that the Hip Hop Congress, has collaborated with the Hip Hop Education Center on as our hub for all of our activity, any events that you have going on. If you have not signed up for that, we have free subscriptions. All you need is an email. Then you can join the forum network. If you are part of a chapter, we definitely want you on that so that you can put your chapter activities on through to the events calendar. As I just said, we're going to send out a newsletter for folks to opt in to both Hip Hop Community University, Hip Hop Congress, and Hip Hop Education Center to stay informed on what's happening on the grassroots organizing tip through Hip Hop Congress, the hip hop education professional field through Hip Hop Education Center, and then Hip Hop Community University, which is the collaboration between both of those efforts, sort of a top down, bottom up structure. And it looks like we got a couple new people that just hopped on. I'm seeing Michael. I'm seeing Trigger the Beats. Oops. And Danius. Welcome, Danius. I'll pass it to you next if you want to give a quick update. And then Michael, we'll pass the mic to you. You can introduce yourself. Let us know where you're tuning in from. Go ahead, Danius. Give us a update. Haven't seen you in a minute.
All
How you
right,
been?
so
How's the DJ going?
I've been really good. I did my first live DJ gig at Bar 101 this past Wednesday. That was really good. And I
Nice.
also have my YouTube channel, DJ Neuroflow The Journey, if you want to subscribe to it.
Share the
Uh,
link.
all right, cool. And I came from seeing The Mandalorian and Grogu in the theaters.
How was that?
That was a really good movie, and I recently came from also from Home Depot. I bought a table and a chair just so I could use it for my DJ gigs, and
Nice.
I could put my laptop there, my DJ controller, yeah, and that was really good. And I'm also like, I'm gonna be going to Los Angeles on June the 3rd. I'm going to Cinegear, and I'm also going to on the 5th, and I'm also going to Universal Studios on the 6th. So other than that, I'm looking really forward to my DJ journey. And I want to be able to travel 365 days a year for my DJ, you know? I'm a social media influencer too. I'm a content creator. And I'm also getting more. I'm also gonna be doing more gigs regularly. I'm looking to become a residential DJ, like in Sacramento, California, or in Roseville, California. So other than that, I also want to get my social media game up too. So other than that, I've been doing really good, and I'll keep you guys updated more about my DJ gigs. And I'm also gonna be tomorrow. I'm gonna be buying a button making machine. So I'm gonna be giving away buttons at my shows. That's gonna be. If you want to, Ramen, I can mail you one of the buttons that I create, and then you can help support me from there.
That's awesome, Dennis. Congrats on the DJ gig.
Yeah.
Definitely. How did it feel?
It felt really good. I was really happy.
Did you feel a good connection with the audience?
Yeah, they all clapped for me in the end.
That's awesome.
So the next genre that I'm gonna do is stoner rap.
Oh,
So
sorry,
other
we got.
than that, I'm gonna push.
Hold on, Tristan. I'm gonna mute you in a second just because we got a little
Yeah, so
going
that's
on
what
this
I've
thing.
been up to lately. So other than that, I'll keep you guys updated if you guys want to come to my shows. And maybe Ramen, and one day I can do a DJ gig for Hip Hop Congress, you know?
Well, actually, we're going to be up there in Sacramento, August 28th through 30th. It's a good reminder to throw out there to the folks in the room again. That is our international conference hosted by Auburn Hip Hop Congress, but it's going to be in Sacramento. So we might be able to find a spot or in a time where yeah, you could hit us with a DJ set. So yeah, mark
So
those dates down on your calendar and
August 28th through 30th. Can you text it to me also?
uh,
Send me the link.
yeah, we've put out a save the date on our Instagram. It'll be going out on HHCU Hip Hop Community
So
very soon.
I'll save that to my calendar for sure.
Yep.
So
Yeah.
other than that, that's what I've been up to. So who I gotta get ready to go to my DJ lesson.
All
So
right.
who hasn't gone yet?
We'll pass it to Tristan, who looks like he's ready now.
All right, so I gotta go now. Get ready for my lesson. Okay.
All right, brother. Thanks for
Bye.
checking in. And then Michael, we'll circle back around to you, but let's go. Tristan, go ahead.
Yes, yes. Thank you so much for the floor given to me. I could hear you when you were calling me, but I wasn't able to unmute myself. It seems that my device is having some issues, and I have to replace it with a new one. Thank you so much. It's been a long since I was here, and I couldn't be here just for being busy. Uh, we are we have been so busy with Lisa, working on a mapping program where we are trying to localize our different members' locations. and using an internet a software, a Google software, in setting up a database so that we can easily identify our different locations of our people. This is what I've been working on. And apart from that, everything is good. The problem is based on the fact that here in my country, especially in the eastern part where I am, the North and the South Kivu provinces, which are the war affected zones, are now locked due to the Ebola pandemic issue, and we are suspecting that this is just a rumor, and this is not a reality, because as we know, there is no single case of proved case of Ebola. We think that they are just looking for funding. Politicians, sometimes African politicians, especially in poor countries, sometimes they create issues in order to attract funding coming from international foundations. Yeah, this is the problem we are facing, additional to the war, which has not ended yet. Apart from that, everything is okay. I'm happy to meet you again this night. Here it's 8 9 p.m. here. So happy to be with you again. Thank you.
Well, thank you for that update. Yeah, it's we had spoken briefly about that rumor, so to speak, in the DRC before you hopped on. So glad to hear that you also don't see evidence of that. Hopefully, it is just a rumor, and yeah, not surprised that folks will say anything these days to get the money. Um, all right. Only person we haven't checked in with is Michael. If you want to unmute, introduce yourself, tell us where you're calling in from and how you came to us. I'm not sure if this is a Michael we know or if you're new to the network, but go ahead and introduce yourself to Hip Hop Congress. And if you are for any reason unable to unmute, you can also use the chat to introduce yourself. Lisa, did you?
Yeah, I unmuted. Michael, yeah, if you're there, all you have to do is say hello. We'd like to be able to hear your voice. Okay, probably just taking it in.
Yeah. Is this somebody? I mean, was this anyone you were expecting?
Well, what I've been doing is I've been taking the link and putting it onto my status every Saturday and give it a few hours leeway so that people can see that and come forward for whatever reason they want. And of course, we had a Chiza here this last week as well. And I watched a part of the performance that they had today. I kept having problems with the sound that was coming through. Sometimes it was good, sometimes it disappeared, sometimes there was this woman's voice that just boomed louder than everything. So, but I know that he'll have that all worked out. So no worries there. But they did a really great job. He's got a good crew, and I would welcome anybody who wants to contact me because he's given me these links to be able to watch on Saturday mornings. So I'm happy to pass those out. But as far as the rest, oh, Michael is now unmuted. Michael, feel free, say hello. S'il vous plaît. No, we're not getting any sound. Okay. But not trying to pull in as many as I can because I'd like for everybody else here in the Hip Hop Congress to get a better picture as to the different things that are going on, the different groups that we're bringing in. Hip hop culture is huge in Africa. And of course, Eastern Congo, Goma seems to be a really huge center for hip hop culture. Um, a lot of the biggest stars on the continent are around that zone. And that's their central home base, and they travel back and forth all over the place. Um, and of course, what Tristan said earlier about this being a rumor, yes, they've had two nations send in, I believe, Netherlands sent in the equivalent of $6 million, and a group out of Germany sent in 10 million to give assistance. So that can go a long way toward assisting this new healthcare system that we're mapping out. So I'm not going to say it's a negative or a positive. I don't really know what the truth is, but eventually I'll find out. Um, we have started mapping mining zones to see about how much work will need to be done to remediate the land and the waters around those areas. And we found a couple that are pretty bad. And of course, they're for rare earth minerals that get used in all the devices that we're dealing with right now. And so this is something that's on the people who make these devices, that they're not seeing to the safety of the workers involved. I on my end, I feel that they're responsible, tell you the truth, because of their demand. They make it like real easy for people of ill will to come in and just take over because of greed. And hopefully, those through these works on peace will see that basically what's been going on has been going on in at least 20 other zones across the planet where you have smaller nations that have wealth underneath their soil, and the larger nations like China, Russia, and yes, the United States come in. They start a conflict, a civil war, in order to disrupt the country, destroy its infrastructure, so they can steal the wealth out from underneath the land and leave a mess. No thought as to the true value of human life or of life, its life period. And so this is one of the things that we're working to try to stop, part of the mending goals for the UN Global Compact, in fact. And so if it weren't for people like Tristan, I would not have been able to get in as much as I have. Through my efforts, through his efforts, and the other two translators who, like him, have actually, been put in danger for this work. And every one of them has had to be rehomed, and they're due to be rehomed again because they've been at their places for about 6 months, and that's just a bit too long. You can get easily recognizable by your neighbors, and they can say, "Oh yeah, he's over here." So getting that taken care of, that's one of our next goals. And of course, we've got groups coming forward with product they want to sell because this treaty cut off the avenues that they were using. So we're trying to come up with protocols and processes by which to determine who we want to talk to. Period. End. Because these guys, good or bad, they're going to find a market somewhere. We want to make certain that that's a good market, and that the whatever's made from that goes to something every bit as good. And it's a big challenge. And of course, this mapping has been hugely helpful. It's given us a really good idea as to how far we still need to go. But I'm very happy to have people coming into the Hip Hop University here and give their testimony. I think it's wonderful. I think that we all need to be able to spread this information. So thanks, Rahman, for letting me speak again.
Of course, of course. All right. Well, Safer Meal, we've checked in with everybody. this is a time where we open up the forum for any topic that folks would like to get weigh in on. Um, focused on any aspect of our mission, which is empowering communities, empowering youth through the network of our cultural resources, which is pretty broad. So every one of us that is doing work that is helping communities and who is connected to cultural expression is our peoples. So, Michael, it looks like you're trying to unmute again. Do we want to test your mic? We are still not hearing you. What you can do instead is use the chat and give us a written introduction at the very least. That way we can. Oh, there you go. You're connecting to audio now. That's why. All right. Are you able to connect?
Meantime, I would like to give my proposal in terms of setting up a database for Hip Hop Congress.
Uh huh.
Database, each one's information can be saved, and setting up a mapping for Hip Hop Congress, where easily we can visualize and identify each one's location and information. Thank you.
That would be amazing, Tristan. Yeah, let us send that to I'll put an email in the chat. You can send it to and CC Lisa and we can build on that. That would be incredible.
Okay, that's part of my season. I can work on that.
Wonderful. Okay, I'm gonna put an email in there, but you can send that to. All right, Michael, how we doing on the audio? Any luck? All right. You can send that, Tristan, to national office at hiphopcongress.com. It's in the chat. Okay. Okay. Crowdfunding AI. Lisa, reading your comments. Okay. Wonderful. Looking forward to getting the follow up on that.
Hello.
Yes, Wilson.
Uh, I'm Wilson. I'm Bukavu for DRC. If I can speak in French, I see my friend is here for to translate for me.
Yes.
Can I
Vous pouvez
speak in
parler en
French?
vous pouvez
Yes,
parler
Okay.
please.
syllabe.
Okay, merci beaucoup. Je suis Wilson, résident en RDC. Je suis dans la province du Sud Kivu, dans la ville de Bukavu. Je représente une plateforme de personnes en situation de handicap qui est ADIPED, l'Action pour le développement intégral des personnes désœuvrées. Souvent, je participe maintes fois dans des réunions pareilles à partir de Madame Lisa, que je dois toujours féliciter parce qu'avec lui, nous sommes en train d'évoluer et d'être outillés dans plusieurs choses. Ces derniers temps, nous vivons dans une situation très précaire avec la guerre de l'Est, dans la province de l'Ituri, dans la province du Nord Kivu et dans la province du Sud Kivu, là où je réside. Et après la guerre, il s'est présenté aussi cette épidémie d'Ebola qui bloque tout le monde ces derniers temps. Et si vous voyez la vue des gens aujourd'hui, ça devient très catastrophique. La guerre est là, et manque d'emploi et aussi cette maladie qui tape la porte, ça bloque tout. Alors avec la communauté internationale, nous sommes en train de voir comment faire la sensibilisation pour que cette épidémie ne puisse pas, pour que chacun puisse, pour que chacun puisse voir comment se protéger pour ne pas être contaminé avec cette maladie. Vous savez vous-même, les années passées, comment l'Ebola avait tué plusieurs personnes dans notre pays et précisément ici à l'est de la République démocratique du Congo. Mais aujourd'hui, il n'y a pas même beaucoup de sensibilisation. Vous voyez, nous sommes des experts. Vous pouvez d'abord traduire, puis on va continuer.
Vous
Ouais.
avez déjà tiré vous serez obligé de synthétiser, vous avez tiré à longueur. Okay.
Okay.
My name is Bill. I'm from DRC, especially in South Kivu. And, I'm so happy to be connected to this forum through Madam Lisa, with whom I used to attend different meetings, such such as this meeting. And the issue we are facing right now in our country is related to Ebola virus as well as the war. You know that last year Ebola killed many people in my country, and as it has been announced that is on our doors, we are fearing, and people's life is becoming catastrophic. Uh, in addition, there's also a problem related to unemployment due to this war and financial crisis. And we are trying to think how to protect people from this disease. Continuez, monsieur.
Ok, vous voyez ce dernier tas, nos catégories de personnes en situation de handicap, nous avons tant de catégories, au moins 5 catégories. Il y a les moteurs, il y a les sourds-muets, les non-voyants, il y a les malentendants, il y a aussi les albinos, il y a les autochtones. Alors, nous nous mobilisons pour voir comment on peut les sensibiliser, cette catégorie de personnes. Moi qui ai cette plateforme. Alors, à partir de la sensibilisation, pour les faire comprendre, c'est un peu difficile. Vous pouvez venir là où il y a un sourd-muet qui n'entend rien pour les faire comprendre comment se protéger pour ne pas être contaminé avec cette maladie. Il faut avoir cette expérience. C'est ça le travail que nous sommes en train de faire. Et aussi pour quelqu'un qui ne voit pas, c'est un aveugle, comment il va se protéger avec cette maladie, avec ce virus d'Ebola. Il faut qu'il soit aussi bien préparé à partir de notre organisation. En bref, vraiment, nous sommes en train de nous mobiliser, mais comment arriver à ce niveau-là? Parce que on n'est
Veuillez
pas
de
équipé.
synthétiser.
Oui,
Veuillez
oui.
de synthétiser les mots.
Oui, oui. On n'est pas. Alors, nous avons besoin d'être accompagnés pour que nous puissions réussir à notre mission de pouvoir protéger cette catégorie déjà pour qu'ils ne soient pas contaminés. Merci beaucoup.
Exactly. Okay, so our mission is to take care and protect people with disability, especially blind people, deaf people, and people who are living with different kinds of disability. His experience, uh, people in taking care of people that are living with disability. We try to do our best in order to raise awareness, and especially during this case of Ebola, we are trying to do all our best so that we can face this issue. So what we are still missing right now is finance, sufficient means for in order to combat this issue. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for that update and translation. Um, okay, good to hear from everyone there. Emil, I don't know if you want to add anything either in the chat or live if you're able to, you're welcome to. Um, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm still driving like in about 10 minutes. If you guys are still around, I'll add something. All right, thanks.
Okay. Um, all right. So again, now it's the time to open up any topic that anybody wants to get some way on.
I was going to say rest in peace
Something
to
that's on your
Rob
mind.
Bass.
I will just throw out one topic. What?
Oh yeah,
Really?
you didn't know Rob Bass passed away
Oh
yesterday.
yeah, I did not hear about that. That is sad.
Yeah, there was a picture that circulated around. I think it got taken down. I remember
Mhm.
seeing a very bad picture. Like it was like he was in the hospital. One of his legs was going, and apparently he'd been having this battle for a while. Um, but yeah, rest in peace, man. Like I don't think a lot of people knew.
Dang. That was just today.
I saw these yesterday when I was on my way up to Baltimore to the show.
Okay.
It just popped up on my feed. I was like, whoa.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, well, yeah. Rest in peace, man. He had some classics. Um, so I'll have to play some of them classics in his honor this weekend. Um, what were some of the? So he had two main ones. Obviously, there's the It Takes Two, and what was the other one that was? I'm trying to think. Was Joy and Pain?
I
Is it that
think
one?
so. Yeah, I think it was that one. I can't remember off the top.
That joy and pain, sunshine and rain. I think that was Rob Bass, right?
See, now I gotta go look, but I think you're right.
Yeah, that one's always a good one to go to. Um, yeah, I just throughout what I noticed on social media, is seeing a lot of our people in our network, particularly it was Manny Faces actually. Who was kind of just did like a little vent frustration that I felt really, really deeply about how hard it is to get funding. Even if you're doing the work, you got this track record, and this has been kind of a running theme in our meetings on how, as hip hop organizers, often we're a unique breed because we do this stuff off of the love, and if we're not making money at it, we still do it, and in a way that is kind of can be looked at as a strength and a weakness, because on the one hand, uh, it's like we figure out ways to do what we love even if we don't have funding, and in that regard it's a strength. We problem solve. Our relationships are stronger because of that shared experience and that recognition. Um, and at the same time, when we are going after funding, it's hard to kind of convey that to people who don't have that same frame of reference to what we do, why we do what we do. I know I've experienced that personally with, just trying to explain the value of the work that's being done. So it was kind of, in a way, it was kind of like to hear him express that same frustration, because we understand how deep and profound the work is. But it can be very frustrating to have to go after funding from people who don't see that, and don't have that frame of reference where it's just like, oh, we recognize you. So it looks like that is everybody's kind of experiencing that across the board when it comes to hip hop professionals. Um, like I said, a lot of people that I've worked with that are in the Hip Hop Congress Network are experiencing this in their individual way as they go after funding, which to me just kind of reinforces the importance of kind of having a unified front. Like we don't have there's no hip hop union. We have a hip hop congress. We have so we have a body where we, um, have a shared vision and mission. And but it's so vast, and it started its roots in grassroots activism, and education. The fact that we're still around to this day w- with very little funding, compared to other nonprofits is a testament in itself. But we still have to make that, at some point we have to find the solution to, so that we can, make a living off of this. Like, people are making millions of dollars and making livings off of work that is much less transformational. And so closing that gap is kind of it's on us to figure out. So I will throw that out as a topic. What do folks see as the challenges and potential solutions? If anybody wants to weigh in on that, of course the floor is open to any other topics.
My goodness, dead air.
um, Yeah, I mean, I'll start calling out names. Lady Crow, I am kind of curious your perspective on that, since Manny as well, and been doing this work as well. Like, do you find, and as part of Atlanta Hip Hop Congress, um, do you find challenges in that when you're going after funding? Have you been mainly just sticking to the folks that get it? How's that looking for you, or any other topic? But I would be curious to hear your perspective on that.
As far as funding, there has been some challenges, and again, Kelly Glow can probably express more than I could. Um, but from some of the interactions or the meetings that we've had, I know that's something that we're still trying to, you know, gather and get going there. But again, I think Kelly would be probably a better person that will be able to answer that question in terms of like funding and all of that.
For sure, for sure. Um, yeah, I will say, and then if anybody wants to chime in, just unmute. I'm kind of just filling up the airwaves here, but I know from a national executive committee perspective, like some of the discussions that we've had have been around, just the organization of these funding structures, because what the language that funders are looking for is, one, yes, they want to see collaborations between organizations. So they want to know that your network of partners is established, is already in action, so that leads to, do you have MOUs with other community partners. um, and that process in and of itself is also something that we want to empower chapters and organizers with, because even finding partnerships can be a challenging conversation, especially when you are bringing something to the table that may not be on people's radars. So, for example, an after school program that well, I'll take one from my chapter. After school program, school down the block. Um, we have a space for training, wrestling, martial arts, or whatnot, and we started off with a kind of an in-kind MOU offering. Like, yes, we can let your kids train with, we'll train them at our facility, um, in exchange for promotion to the families. Um, but then when it comes to getting funding for that, uh, it's easier when you're just bartering and creating relationships. But then when it comes to, okay, well, we've been doing this for 5 months, we need to come up with some funding because it's not sustainable. Um, people get people then start to look at, they go from that this sort of abundance mentality of, oh yes, we can give as much as we can give, but if it comes down to like, what's the financial relationship, people can tend to, based off of their experience, go into, oh, well, we don't have the resources. And so the conversation stops. We're not, that is not, those are almost like two opposing viewpoints that feel like as, or hip hop organizers, we can approach a situation with kind of boundless creativity. Um, in the sense of like, hey, we can come and you know perform for your organization if that's something that is going to reach the youth and create the vibe, create a entertaining vibe. That's one side of it. If you're an educator on top of that, well, we can not only perform, we can teach a workshop, which is often not on people's radar, and sounds great, and but there is a value to that. So doing a demo class to lead to something more solid. These are conversations that can be had. When you come into, what I found is that when you're talking about workshops, then that leads into professional development. So it's not even just about doing something for the youth, but hey, we can come in, we can invigorate your staff with hip hop cultural workshops. So we kind of have the ability to raise the vibe of any space. We do that as artists, as creatives. But oftentimes we are relegated to, sorry for the background noise, plane, loud plane. We're relegated to that box of, oh, that's just the entertainment. But we can be so much more. But where's the vision of other people who may just be comfortable seeing us as like, oh, that's the entertainment. When we can see, well, we're entertainment, we are facilitators, we are hosts. That is kind of where I see a lot of the challenge of translating this endless potential of community building that we can bring. And it also is a process of us realizing that about ourselves too. Like, we have the capability to do these, to step into these roles in our communities, and we have now a network too, 30 years strong, of support to help us develop ourselves in these ways. And it's not yet a obvious. It's still, I should say, it's still an emerging field. It's an emerging career path for a lot of people. But it is done. It is a reality for more and more people, and that's what we're through like things like Hip Hop Community and whatnot. We're trying to make more normalized and established and less outside the box. So that's why each of your work is crucial in setting that precedent. Um, so yeah, I just am seeing too that we got Brian here. I'm glad you're able to tune in, Brian. If you want to do your check in, we do also have Kiza, who checked in earlier, who was also in Kenya doing a lot of powerful work. So, whenever we got two folks from the same part of the world, even if you're not directly overlapping or know each other, I want to make sure that you guys are aware of each other and the work that you do, so that we can build this network of organizers, as we were talking, as Tristan had mentioned in this proposal. how we can set up a map, like a community mapping of people until we really can, know of each other. So the first thing is establishing relationships. So Brian, why don't you go ahead and give us your update, and reintroduce your work that you do to folks that may not be familiar with it. Go ahead. Brian, are you able to unmute? Right. Okay. If you are able to unmute, well then, anyone want to chime in on any topic? If not, we can. Oh, there you are, Brian. All right, go for it.
Hello. Sorry, everyone. I was on my way back home, but I'm really happy I managed to join you guys. It's an intense moment for us here in our studio. We're trying to secure it because we've been lagging behind. So today I just had a deep conversation with the landlord. So I'm saying that things will be okay. I'm just hoping that I'll do my best to make sure that at least we find alternatives for sustainability and clear our own careers. And again, I'm just humbled that I was able to join because I'm coming also from a certain kid's birthday, one of our dancers last year, and his leg was amputated. So just had a chance to share with the family, at least share memories we had together, also for the moment. I'm just happy that I'm always positive, and I just think of being who I am, a humanitarian, and also talking to people, gives me hope. And I'm also trying to strategize on how the kids can survive with or without my presence, because now the task ahead has been so tough, because I've also delegated some tasks to my senior dancers who are now above teenagers, some are youth. So I've seen them representing my dance in the TV stations, even though they never won last Friday, last yesterday. I'm also happy that they became position too. Despite whatever we are experiencing at our dance studio, I'm going for sustainability just to have costumes, because this year we have not attended any dance competition, so we won't be maybe having a chance to defend our titles, because this year we only be focusing much on sustainability. Partnerships, collaborations, sponsorship. For now, we can sustain ourselves beyond just relying on donations. So, that's tough for us, especially when you deal with young people. You have a few people to voice out whatever the kids are going through. I just have to now be this person who's in the media, share our stories, because even the parents now they're advocating for the survival of the studio. People want the studio to be not close, because it's also dangerous in our hood. Matar is among the biggest slum here in Africa, second biggest. Sorry, the third biggest slum in Africa. Soweto, then Kibera, then the Madare slum. But I'm hoping that things will be better. Just positive and strategizing on how the young people we now commercialize their art now that we're starting the media tour. This year, I've done a lot of documentaries, our stories. They're both on the internet, and I'll also be posting our journey on our Instagram account. I've been dominating on the Facebook account much. I love to went on to Instagram. I've not been active because of the limited internet access in our area. In Africa, we rely on the free Facebook app. If you don't have the data bundles, you have the free Facebook app that does not cost you anything. And I'm also humble that I'm also getting friends from East Africa and also from western part of Africa through this part of dance. And just feeling that somebody will reach out to us, check on us, see how we can support us. I've had the conversation in terms of how people can partner, collaborate. the reason behind it. I was following it up, and it really makes me sense. And I'm just interested to learn also and to unlearn the things that are maybe making me lag behind the corporate world and also maybe the social world, the humanitarian world. I'm at this point that I'm much into the gratitude level, but I'm complaining because what else can I do? I'm just fearful, but I'm hoping for the best. I just want to appreciate everyone, especially the Hip Hop Congress family, has been with us for the last couple of years. This year will be our fifth year when we reach September in the dance industry. We'll be counting on our impact. The milestone is broken, but the testimonials will be coming out on the kinds of life we impacted. So anyone who's interested may go through our documentaries. We are there. You can check on our journey, our authenticity, and the reason behind our stories. They're amazing in terms of testimonials too. The post behind us. But above everything, we're just proud to be part of the Congress. I've really, really, really learned a lot, especially with my tender age. I think I'm the youngest person here. Still not sure. I've really learned a lot for the years I've been here. I've consumed a lot of positive information. I've impacted people with the right information. I've connected with so many people. And I would like this information that I have not die with me. Also pass with the next generation, and I'll be inviting some of my dancers who are now in college just to be consuming the kind of information that is here. Despite the challenges and information, information is power. It can't be limited with whatever you're experiencing. I'll be inviting our dancers over here to be sharing their story, and that will actually help me out. Also to pass the hip hop information to the world. Yes, thank you. Don't know what's not spoken. I'm not sure.
Well, it was like right on the threshold of there was a comprehension, the connection. I was able to hear some stuff that you were saying. It wasn't as clear as normal, but I think in the interest of time, we can probably go into our checkouts because you were just as you popped in, we kind of did your check in and check out. And I don't know, folks want to weigh in on the topic that was thrown out. You can feel free to, but we are close to our 2 hour mark. So I would like to perhaps pass it to Kiza, whose information I just reshared in the chat because I don't know if you could access it, Brian. But he's out of Kakuma refugee camp, and again, I don't know how far that is from where you're at near Nairobi, but you're both in Kenya, and so I wanted to for you guys to be able to know of each other's work, and so why don't we pass it to Keys? Keys, you want to unmute and
Yes.
Brian is the one that I wanted you to know about as well with data mindset. So go.
Okay. Thank you. I was get a problem of connectivity. Some of the stuff Brian have said I did not hear, but let me share something. Thank you, Brian, for what you are doing, and I think we can be in collaboration or in contact because I'm based in Kakuma refugee camp, and I work with YETC Youth Empowerment and Talent Center, where we stand with youth in Kakuma refugee camp, mostly refugees and the host community, to empower them through music. Is some of them they are doing a music dancer, and others they are doing a music singer. And I have 5 group. In that 5 group, I have the group of young boys, which they are doing a music dancer age of 8 to 12. I have another group for age 12 to 15. Is the boy. I have a group of girls, where they are doing also music dancer. I have a group for boys and girls. They are doing music singer, and I have a group of modeling for girls and boys. So that is some of the group I built, and to empower them through talent. And we do have an event online every Saturday evening time at 4 p.m. So once we can be in contact, my contact is there on the chat. You can text me on WhatsApp so that we can collaborate more and see how we can empower our fellow youth or our fellow refugees in terms of music. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Kiza. Glad you guys were able to inform each other of the work that you guys are doing in alignment. And I shared your contact again there so you guys can find each other outside of this call. Brian, you should do the same thing. Share your contact. All right. Seeing a couple new folks on the call. What we're doing right now is we're checking out by passing the mic around. Again, reintroducing the work that you do. Any final announcements or thoughts that you want to share on the work that you do, or related to the topic of that was just brought up, which you guys missed, but that's okay. In the interest of time, we'll just continue with the checkouts. So, Kiza, you get to pick who to pass the mic to of anybody that hasn't done their checkout. So that's pretty much anybody besides you and Brian. Who would you like to pass the mic to?
Yeah. Yancy can get the mic. Yancy.
Yancy. All right. So,
Yancy.
yep.
Hey, what's happening, y'all? Peace. Sorry, I'm jumping on here late. I just got the message. But peace, everybody. I'm not sure who was all on and what countries, but it's been a little bit since I've been on. But I'm in Madison, Wisconsin, aka they call me B-Boy Spirit. I do body work and healing work. Also teach movement and working within the community with I do different workshops where I'm piecing together the movements of breaking and our street dance in a therapeutic sense. So using it as a modality for healing the body, mind, and spirit. And some of the more recent things here, just at least in Wisconsin, and we tend to get some of the surrounding Midwest, Chicago, Milwaukee, Minneapolis. And we just threw a jam with one of my mentees called part of the Hitters Collective. They're more of a crump crew and all styles. And so we just threw a jam called Battle the Badgers. And that was pretty dope because we got a chance to talk about a lot of the healing aspects and also talk about the battling and ciphering and the difference between that, and getting even the dancers within the community and hip hop heads kind of thinking a little bit more along the lines of how do we, transition this into a not transition, but how do we add this and to the process of our healing, which has always been there. We've been doing it since the beginning, but now just naming it. So we got a chance to introduce the book with Emil and Dr. Rivera and several other artists. I don't know if Emil's talked about that yet. I'm sure he has. But the book is out and soon to be on Amazon. And so I got a chance to talk about a little bit about the book and share that and make some sales to start spreading the word. So I guess my message in the community right now is that oh yeah, I'll definitely drop that in there. And we are trying to find spaces to bring this process of healing work as well. For example, this coming into this week, I'm teaching a workshop. It's called Movement from the Ground Up. And it's taking some of the breaking moves, integrating with some like movement therapy, again, things that we've been doing. So it's more so about knowing your body and just knowing that you are doing something that is mindful. Similar to that is yoga and that sort of thing. But anyway, I'm doing this at the Tai Chi Center. I'll drop the link in here. And at the Tai Chi Center, so trying to get into spaces with more urban style movement, hip hop, breaking, and not necessarily just dancing, but allowing ourselves to have that space and downtime to heal and to recover and restore. So using it as recovery work. So it's pretty cool. This is the second one I've done at the Tai Chi Center. So the community is spreading just the knowledge. It's the knowledge of self, really, within all the elements. And part of the knowledge of self is understanding the mind, body, spirit, as you all know, I'm sure. So there's those aspects. Tai Chi Center. Also, we're looking at doing some more things at Yoga Space as well. And so my goal is really just to try to bring in our community to start. And we did some work in South Africa, again, with Heal the Hood. My thing is just to bring awareness to dancers that we don't have to just be performing. We don't have to be, I usually will call it the dancing monkeys, especially when we don't necessarily want to. And I've just watched a lot of dancers specifically lose themselves after, maybe 30 years old, even late 20s, with no other goals other than to be the best or to be the number one or to be the Red Bull BC1 winner. Nothing wrong with all that, but there's other levels to what we do, and there's deeper levels to what we do as well that do align with some of the health and healing. So that's just basically my awareness. Thanks, yeah. And what's been up. So we just had that was the most recent jam, and then I have the one coming up on the 31st of this month of May. And then I'm going to continue to do each one. I do one about every 2 months. They're about 2.5 hours. And just go through exploring the body, the mind, the spirit, mindfulness, some meditation, some obviously movement meditation. This one's going to be focused more on the groundwork, which I consider earth movement, which is break-in. It ties in a little capoeira. Again, some, ground therapy, and just like some integration of movement in a mindful sense. Then we always like to end with like a little, just a real easy cipher, just to kind of explore movement now with a different sense after going through the awareness of the body and not having to be on stage for just that moment. I'm also a musician, so there's a lot of music. There's music that will be coming out soon, more music that's based around that, with some of the frequency healing and that sort of thing within, kind of like a lo-fi type of groove, things that you could pop to, study to, meditate to, that sort of thing. I'm not sure what else the criteria is, but let's see if anybody has any questions. I saw some comments to drop some things in the chat, but I can pass it on.
Yeah, before you do,
Yeah.
thank you for that update. That's amazing work that you're doing out there, and that's exactly what we want to elevate. Before you hopped on to kind of the topic you kind of spoke to was this, the growth of one, seeing yourself as more than just an entertainer, like you had mentioned, and what that means for growing professionally into. I'll probably be appropriate to pass the mic to Emil next, if you weren't already going to do that. But
I didn't know if he was on yet.
no, he hadn't. This sort of growth of personally, how do you see yourself beyond just being entertainer, which is often the box that people put you in as well, if you don't put yourself in that box, right? When you're going after funding and things like that, that tends to
Absolutely.
be what people, have that limited view of you. And so um, we're I'm seeing this not only personally as well, but just kind of in our network, this challenge of growing outside. If you're a hip hop, artist, educator, organizer, and you're going after the support that you need to do this, that you deserve. How do you navigate conversations with partners or funders that tend to just kind of see you as that one thing? And maybe
Hmm.
that's all they've budgeted for, right?
Yeah.
And so, we're seeing this kind of throughout the network as a challenge. And so I kind of threw that out there as a topic,
Mm.
because it's kind of ubiquitous and something that we have to overcome if we're
Hmm.
going to grow, as a cultural ecosystem and whatnot. So feel free to chime in any thoughts on that, and then you can pass the mic.
Absolutely. Yeah. So I think what I'm hearing you say is, how do you tie that in? Say if you're trying to get funding for events and things like that. So most spaces are like really all spaces, especially in Wisconsin and Madison specifically, that mind body consciousness of like doing the revolutionary work and doing the work that we do. If it is freedom fighting, it is the stress, right? So everyone's talking about fight or flight response and how to down regulate, how to normalize our bodies so that we can better serve. So I come in along those lines with some of the funding. I've had different individuals through the university, also through just community work, who have invited me in, and it gives me a little bit more credibility. That's why I'm trying to get some of the individuals in. For example, I did a workshop. I got invited in for the Center for Healthy Minds, all the study with the Dalai Lama and all the work that they've done with the Dalai Lama, Richie Davis, and at the university. And so I met a woman, again, a lot of psychologists and different doctors, medicine, psychotherapists, and they'll invite me in because they're realizing that the quote from Einstein, the highest form of play is, or highest form of research is play. When you think about that, like what we're doing when we're with hip hop, right? Peace, love, unity, and having fun. The having fun part gets overlooked because most people right now are we get so serious about the work. Got to get this, got to save this person, got to do this, got to yell at somebody, got to get mad. And the fun is within our the joy, right? We got this new term going around, black joy, black love, black joy, and things like that. And that's what that is. It's like people wanting to, if a person's not feeling joyful, they don't want to share, you know what I mean, more joy. They want to share what's the pain and what's all these things, but the joy is very important. So a lot of the Center for Healthy Minds and the Dalai Lama, when you see him, what is he always doing? Like 90% of the time is smiling and he's happy. And then when you meet him, he just makes you laugh because they realize that is the top priority. So what hip hop does for us is like, I see a lot of smiling faces. And sometimes you walk into a jam and everybody's mean mugging because they're getting ready to battle. But once you start going, you start noticing, and I'm noticing even more, that peaceful joy. So I lean into that, right? And not like lean into like I have all this knowledge and I have all this wisdom to, teach you something. It's more so about let's have a good time. And then in that good time, people start to relax. The nervous system actually starts to down regulate. It actually is we perform better when we're more relaxed or in a parasympathetic state or when we're in a joyful state. This is facts. This is science. So they love that. So I worked with it was a group of individuals that were imprisoned. It was about, maybe 30 individuals, and it was a retreat. And so they invited me for that day, and then I ended up teaching longer, and I just did an integrative workshop. And as soon as we start getting into it, we start doing a little pop in and da da da. People were really into it. So now I say all that too is that kind of leads me on my resume. And I say, well, when we work for Center for Healthy Minds, when I teach a workshop at the Tai Chi Center, or I'm looking to do these things in these spaces, that starts to open the spectrum of who really we can work with, right? It's like we want our community to actually thrive, the hip hop community, but we also have people that want to learn about what this is about, and that also, if they when they realize it has this therapeutic foundation, doors are kind of swinging open. And then now Emil and Roberto and I, we worked on this book, and we brought these things to life. And it's like now I have this book in my hand. I said, and people go, "What is this? Hip hop and healing? Hip hop as healing? Wait a minute! I thought hip hop was about blah 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 XYZ because we still got that battle." But I try not to give that any energy, and I keep pushing to the other side. And it started really about, I guess, 3 years ago, before the first trip to South Africa. I did a hip hop healing Midwest event. No, 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 that was the first trip. That was after the first trip. And I just used that language, and we got a lot of funding, but we can tap into that, like, and I'll just throw this out quick, and I'm gonna pass the ball to Emil real quick. The elements. So let's say we got like beatboxing. Beatboxing is essentially is meditation. It's transcendental meditation, right? We're trying to mimic the ohm in some of the beats, and that's sort of the lows, the highs, and those frequencies. Try beatboxing for 2 minutes, even a minute straight, and see how you feel if you're feeling anxious. That sort of thing. Obviously, breaking. You get your hands on the ground in the dirt. You can see I'm in my garden right now. And you get your hands in the dirt, or on the ground on all fours. Super grounding, getting rooted. Obviously, rhyming. Rhyming is magical. I need to do more of it. Freestyle. I'm talking freestyling to get my mind, you know what I mean, to start tapping in to those elements of healing within rhyming. We all learn from rhyming, and of course the visual arts and this sort of thing is also the visual healing, how you can look at a picture and it can take you somewhere, right? And then the music, of course, the frequencies. So that's all. So I don't know if that helped, that speaks to some of what you're kind of asking about, but that's what I've been doing, and I'm still green at it. I'm learning this process, and it's very joyful to be able to move it in this direction where I can literally walk up in a yoga studio and be like, yo, I'm a b-boy, a breaker, or whatever, and I want to do this therapeutic modality with y'all. And everyone's like, yes, it's about time we have some fun. So yeah, that's what's up. But yeah, so I'll pass the ball to Emil. And yeah, we'll Emil, if you could add any links or whatever of stuff that I was talking about too, it'd be dope.
Sure.
Okay.
Hey man, finally done shopping. Yes. Yeah, I wanted to just add to that. The thing about the joy is that, like, it's a state of mind, a shift of a state of mind. So like if you connect that to the funding, is the sense of belief that goes with that it will happen irrespective. I mean, we had the dream of owning property, and then the action to put that into effect because of the strong sense of belief, and then buying the property. And then like a year or two later, a funder steps in and says, yo, we'll plow the funding in over the next 3 years. And in the middle of that is like, oh damn, the other funder that came in from Sweden that backed our classes couldn't, because of what's going on politically around the world, and that disappeared. And then just keeping that in mind, like how do you make these like ridiculous amounts of money manifest, right? So it's like it's same with the b-boy mindset, with the dancer's mindset. You think, and then you take action. There's the talking isn't really the thing, right? And so I think that like black joy is also about like the deep belief that you can manifest this within your body, and that demands that the outcome is actually making real. So again, in the case with the facilitators at Heal the Wood, we now have funding from June until the end of the year. So I think it is about also what Lacour was speaking about, like the way Spirit is speaking about, is that not only the belief in it, but also the grounding of yourself in the space, and to like he's mentioning, having all four of like all of your, like your hands and your feet, or just laying on the ground, right? Like be fully immersed in what it is you want to bring up, where you want to bring the change about, and then actually manifesting it. And I'll never forget the reaction of the guys when I brought a copy of the book to the airport. you know it's like, for me, that's not a big deal, but like for all of us, like, someone who hasn't done that before is like, actually, like, yo, these are our thoughts, these are our ideas, and here it is, here's I should actually, while I say that, do it. Yeah, like, here it is, like, it's the manifestation of the, you know what I mean. And that for me is like these are, if you look at the amount of things that have been said by the members of Hip Hop Congress, we could have had a whole library of these books already. You know what I'm saying? It's just, if you believe it, then you can manifest it. So I feel like that's, and I mean, it's the same if you do any form of martial arts. Like, if you're gonna think twice about where you throw the punch or where you throw the kick, you're not gonna you're not gonna hit the target, or you're gonna injure yourself. So you have to have that belief that you're gonna actually put it into effect. So I feel like we're coming back to the conversation about funding. It is also expanding to other communities where we sometimes feel like they won't understand. Like, I've done a workshop in an old age home, like, and after I did the first one, I was like, damn, why are we not going there more often? You know, and for them it was like, yo, thank you for coming. Like, and these older people were like, yo, we can help you fund. Like, some of them are like, actually fundraisers, some of them worked in banks, some of them, so all of these older folks have this access to knowledge and information, and are wanting to share it, but because we're not there, they feel like, yo, nobody's coming. So so I think is that, like, expanding our own perception of where hip hop can go. You know what I mean? Yeah, so I leave it at that, and maybe I should just check out. And like I said, that I must say, like, also about Black Joy, sometimes mixed in that Black Joy is the reality. I'm heading home to South Africa. My dad is been diagnosed with cancer and is actually in hospital, and so like I'm going home. I'm feeling sad, but he told me this, before I left, we were struck with that thing about the inability to continue the work with the kids. And he came to me, and to add to what this conversation, he said, I know if you focus on this, the organization that you started in many years ago will continue, and it should, because it doesn't only carry my legacy, it carries his. So my brother's son is teaching soccer, which my father is well known for. And because of that, they feeding the young people from the school into the club that my dad had been involved with his whole life. And that club was about to shut down because there were no young people. Do you know what I'm saying? So, like, for me, it's like we it is not our words, it is our actions that our children learn from. So I'll end it with that, and I'm looking forward to we're hoping to get the entire crew that did this book to actually come to present at the Hip Hop Congress, the conference in August. So yeah, I'm hoping as many people are able to make it there. I'll pass the mic. Is that Masterpiece? Is that Mac?
Mhm. While you're passing the mic to him, I don't know if it was still on the calendar or on the schedule for San Mateo for Afro Bushido Academy, but that's still, we can talk offline about that if you're going to be in Cali at any point this summer, maybe ahead of the conference, all that. But yeah, man, that was that was amazing. Thoughts right there shared. It actually made me think about how so much of the funding, at least that I'm involved in, is all writing behind the desk, and it's so hard to convey the vibe and the joy through just words on a screen. And so that's been a kind of a barrier. So I really appreciate that refocusing on like, unless you can get in front of these people, you're doing a lot of work for, um, kind of a guesswork of how they're going to take it. So I appreciate that. Thank you.
Our Black joy is always spoken louder than our writing and our our office.
For real. All
I'm
right,
not
Matt.
Masterpiece is actually on. If not, then we can pass it to someone else.
Masterpiece, you want to unmute and you can introduce yourself and pick up the mic? There you go.
Greetings,
Hey,
everybody. Greetings, everybody. Hi,
welcome.
Chase.
Welcome.
Good day if you're in the daytime, fine plus. If you're in the nighttime, so hi, Chase, fine plus. From Tubik 5 uur, kan bisa. So, welcome, everybody. Thank you very much for this platform. Gangan Semil, Gangan Spirit, all the people who worked on the book. It's good to see that on the screen. I haven't been in contact for a long time. So I just greeted in Khoi San language, in Khoi language to be specific. Um, my birth name is Maxwell Percy Southgate. My name on the street is Mac1. And between the mountains and the ocean is Gam Pagetay from the Godigopa tribe in the south of Africa. Yeah, hip hop. It's a great manifestation. And I'm glad it exists in my lifetime because the hip hop has opened so many doors, even the impossible ones. And those who came before me, I'm like the second generation or third generation in hip hop, depends on the date. People like Emil, the great Elder Emil, Elder Lady D, Rezano, King Jamo, and all other Kuru Zulu Nation that showed a possible light in the crazy darkness that was still the end of apartheid. And the apartheid ended in a physical form, but in the minds it was still continuing, which what everyone knows happened in the Cape Flats. And through the work of Neil de Hood, we witnessed the transformation of that trauma still carrying through generation. So hip hop, I give thanks, and those who practice around the world and keep it alive through the manifestation and daily practice. And through that practice, it led me to my indigeneity, which is like basically going. The word in Akoi is Abu Khan. To go back to the beginning, I felt like I was in day one in the hip hop class when I first got introduced to it or got invited into this culture. So indigeneity took me back to a language spoken that almost haven't been spoken about or not allowed to be spoken. And through that speaking, that tongue unlocked a lot of things within myself. And in that way, by the way, in the hip hop culture, I practice graffiti art. So my graffiti was always influenced, of course, from the great the New York, USA, and Europe, and a lot of Asia. But through this journey, I learned to unlock the ancient graffiti that we didn't know we had connections to. So those who practice their own art forms, meaning in hip hop, when you're going to that spirit realm, it's a new and there's different world you step into. So even to speak about this on a digital line internationally, it's a strange abyss. It's like it's almost like you feel like you're speaking into nothingness, but there is something, which is kind of what the spirit world is. What I come to learn. You speak word, sound, power. You speak manifestation. And when I'm getting lost in this, this abyss. So I just want to say thank you to everyone that I got to see in the flesh, like the brother Rap Beto. It was great to connect and speak on another level. And B-Boy Spirit, far beyond, yeah, all the great people in different parts of the world. Um, so I'm saying this because the hip hop that I've learned to, I'm practicing where we are, where Emil's home is, physical home is, spiritual home is. I've taken a different shape. My graffiti doesn't look anything like New York wild style. The colors we have here don't even, we can't even mimic the European genius style 3D and lineless work. We're only learning about our culture now, really. Our Indian culture, we can do things that the Asian has done for many millennia. Um, and I'm saying this because the work that we've learned and the traumas we come through help us shape new kind of jobs for the youth. The imagination is the only nation that I know that we all belong to. And in that nation, everything is possible. So I just give thanks to those who still uphold the order of hip hop, the four corners of hip hop, and the 9 elements in the spiritual practice that the body has physically and spiritually can do within a breath. You can transform, and I've seen it through what Healer has been doing and through this book that came out. And now there's slang which Afrikaans dictionary book has come out. Things that were only spoken in tongues has now been written, has been written on the walls. Yeah, cops, yo, respect, respect. That's so beautiful to see, yo, respect. Um, yeah. So thank you. Kaigan Gans to everybody. That's all I can say. And I say thank you to this big mic we have. So I'll pass on the mic to whoever's next in line who want to step up. Kaisa.
Hey, Gangans
You
to
got
you as well, brother.
mm, um, ditto. I don't sit, but I feel the vibe. Um, so Artemis, Stephanie, aka Lady Crow, Brian, Kiza, and Wilson have not checked out yet, and so you can pass it to any one of those names.
Lady, who did you say that was?
Lady Crow, yeah,
Lady
Stephanie.
Crow, yeah. Yes, I'll pass the mic on to Lady Crow. Miss Stephanie. Kaisa.
Hey everybody, it's me again. For those of you guys who stuck in when I was here. Um, so I'm curious, and regarding to like healing and hip hop, there's been a couple of things that I have like questioned before. Like there's two things. The first thing is like I remember Yancy, you mentioned about Red Bull, and everybody wants to be on this platform of Red Bull and Monster being sponsored by these particular corporations. How does everybody feel in regarding to that versus being approaching um in terms of being sponsored by any corporation or any business, like how do you guys feel like if like as far as like being sponsored by water companies versus because we're talking about health, right? So spreading health internally is one of the things because that's one of the reasons why I don't funk with Red Bull or Monster like that. I try to stay away from that, even though a lot of dancers it's like you can't get away from that, especially down here in ATL because we just had the Red Bull What's Your Style recently here, and I'm just like, and people are like, you gonna go? No, I'm not gonna go. And I always have to explain to them, I don't support Red Bull. Okay. And they know that Lady Crow doesn't go to Red Bull, that she doesn't funk with Red Bull. And I've been telling dancers, I've been telling people, and I don't see much of initiative in regarding to, that particular thing. But there's that, and then also me being an advocate against domestic violence, especially towards women, but I know men, they also deal with it in cases such as like with Africa Bambaataa and all of that. How do you guys, and especially with healing, when you have survivors within your community, how do you handle those particular situations, as far as like when you have someone in your community that has brought harm in your community, or seen, what have you? And how do you handle, with the mental state of anyone within a community that has been harmed by that person? I know that's like a deep question.
No, it's so relevant, and I can give you a real life example even from this past week, since you brought that up. And then we're going to be also discussing this at our conference as well. But just recently in Sacramento, there's an event that was canceled, and it's called Indigifest, and it was actually like organized by this indigenous activist who, it came out and over time, that he was a domestic abuser. And I got the word through one of our organizers out in SAC, who is just very solid dude. So going back to the importance of carrying yourself with integrity, because when you have integrity and your word says something like, yo, we can't fuck with this guy, then it's like no questions need to be asked, and you see people co-sign. So they actually got the event canceled, and so there was enough public outcry and accountability, and really discussion and people putting it out there that, like, look, if we're going to heal our community, because this is the same community, it's like when you hear about people like Cesar Chavez, right? And these are activists that are supposed to be, healers, and then their behavior is not aligning, then the accountability needs to come from within the community. And so that happened just this last week. And I was surprised to see it, but then also pleasantly surprised to see how effective the organizing was to to hold accountability for this particular event. And so that's one thing, that real time response to what you're saying. I'll let anyone else chime in about the other aspect.
Yeah, for me, it's like I've and you use the example of BAM, and I've been having this conversation with quite a lot of people from the way back, and the humanity in Africa and the concept of Ubuntu is that everyone needs to be brought into the conversation. Like the tribe doesn't throw someone out. The tribe speaks to the one that did the hurt and the one that has been hurt. And I feel like it's the canceling mindset that is very Western, is very like dismissive. It doesn't solve anything, and I know in the case of BAM, people ask that there be conversation, and I feel like someone having that authority and that position should have participated in the conversation. At the same time, I also feel like the culture isn't mature enough to and are not willing to be held accountable by the lack of addressing things, and insisting that things are addressed on both sides. And so for me, it's not as simple as people make it sound, because I often, my mom has this statement that there by the grace of God, she's very religious, goes I. And so I constantly think, like, how would I have felt? And I felt a bit of it being away from South Africa during the so-called 50th anniversary, and just seeing everyone celebrating. And like, I'm not like, America is very in your face about you not being from America. And so the celebration was essentially about America's 50th anniversary. And so I could just imagine the pain that someone like Bam and the must have by just being outed completely, and then this death that leaves everything hanging. And myself and another guy from back in the day is actually busy writing a paper about like how this story and this lack of our intervention on a global level um, didn't do well for us as a hip hop community. It didn't show our global ability to actually have this conversation, or our maturity for that matter, around the issue of BAM. But I feel the same about a lot of other people. I feel like canceling something doesn't solve it. I feel like you have to address the issue, no matter how painful it is, and both the victims and the perpetrator needs to be part of the conversation, or brought into the conversation by the community globally much more openly. So I don't know if that makes sense, but like I feel like that's the humane way of actually having a conversation, because often our culture is very like, oh well, let's just cancel that person. And then we don't really actually deal with the problem. We actually just it's actually a cop out when we don't deal with it, when we don't you know insist to fetch the person. We have to have the conversation. I just felt like we failed we failed ourselves. And I mentioned this to Rahman once as well. I said, yeah, we are willing to actually like do workshops in prisons with murderers. But we won't have a conversation with someone that was like the backbone of this culture. We won't force them into conversation, and we almost like, you know. Anyway, so I just like, it's like, for me it's double standards. Like we celebrate how how amazing our work is with the prisoners, and but our own culture, I think there's just too much time we've walked away. Anyway, I hope that explains the
If I
duality.
can, yeah, if I can add to that, Emil, because I have been learning being in South Africa, and the principles and concepts of Ubuntu, and it does align with some of the organizations that I've been trying to understand here, based around restorative justice. And I feel like you're right on point, because, and I think, Emil, we had this conversation maybe the second time I was there, and it was kind of based around that, like, why is it that we expect the hip hop culture to be perfect? And when we know that we have a lot of hurt, and this is part of the healing that is needed. And you kind of set me straight, because at the time I was like, man, what I mean? We need to shape up our act. We need to start thinking more healthy minded about all these things. And you're like, yeah, but that's part of the process of healing. And to add to that, sister, what you were saying about me kicking Red Bull out of the jam, that was kind of a different thing, because the further conversation, when at that time they didn't want to have that conversation with me of why I was kicking them out. They knew why. Now, this was like early stages of Red Bull. They're going around, they had their little mascots going out with the backpacks and just handing them out at jams. They're finding, for whatever reason, they targeted in on like urban style sports. So they were going after the BMXers, the skaters, and then the breaking at the time when we were doing it in the early 2000s, late 90s. And they were going after it as like, this is a perfect opportunity to, they already got the event. We could just come in and give out stuff. And it was just, I just saw little young heads literally drinking Red Bull all day. And it was just like, where'd y'all get all these Red Bulls? And just looking like, calling them Red Bull zombies. I'm on the mic MC and hosting, like, what's going on with the Red Bull zombie thing? On the mic, kicking them out. You know what I mean? And that was the young liqueur. What I would do probably differently now is I probably still would have asked them to leave the jam or stop handing out Red Bull, and had the conversation of like, do you understand? You know what I mean? This is like, because at that time I felt, especially in Madison, we're not a big community here. And I felt the necessity to protect the culture, because it felt like it was getting into this sweep that obviously ended up happening anyway. That swept, but in that sweep of like Red Bull, BC1, number one breaker, B-boy, and now they got into all styles, and now it's in the house, and it's just like spreading. But in that process, they ran into more individuals like myself, I believe. So they had to shape up in some way because it's still going on. I'm just a small piece in the pot, you know what I mean? So it don't matter what I say. But but I do believe that a conversation can happen with large corporations, that sort of thing. About around, we know it. We've allowed people to exploit hip hop and ourselves, and then we actually do it to ourselves, myself included. We allow ourselves to do that. So I would say first, how can we not allow ourselves to exploit ourselves, right? Start with yourself. And then from there, you know what I mean? You pick apart what can you, bring light to, and then potentially have a conversation. And then, then the next stage is that if they don't want to, they're like, nah, man, we're trying to exploit this. And we're trying to get all the money we can. We're gonna only give, this amount of money to the winners instead of giving, maybe they do now, but instead of giving top 16, you know what I mean? Top 16 should at least be paid like employees. I mean, like they're coming because they're entertaining. They made Red Bull what it is. Monster jumped on the wagon later, you know what I mean, and then try to get the Beat Boys to battle, you know what I mean, against each other, hating on each other because of Red Bull and Monster. And this is the shit I saw coming. And so I say all that to that, but then to swing it back a little bit to Bambaataa. You know what I mean? Let's take it even further back than Bambaataa. Let's go to Bill Cosby. Right? I made the mistake in the jam, or not even a mistake. I said Bill Cosby's name, and the older folks that knew, like, oh, Bill Cosby. But all the things that he did. Oh, did my earphones go out? Can y'all still hear me? Okay.
Yeah, we still hear you.
Okay. So all the things that Bill Cosby did, like think about it, like if it wasn't for the Fat Albert gang and the Cosby kids, man, that changed my life, man. Like it made me a better person. Right? It made me listen. It made me love, graffiti art even more, you know what I mean, watching the characters and everything. It was so dope. But then when the stuff happened with Bill Cosby, off place of the earth. Boom. No more Bill Cosby. We still don't hear anything about Bill Cosby. And he did a lot for not only the hip hop culture, but and like jazz, the culture at the time, in the 70s. If you're around then And you know what I mean? But a lot of people he got canceled. Nobody, I don't even still think that he had even the restorative justice conversation. Like Bill, like, okay, what was in your mind, bro? Like if Bambaataa, like Emil, I think you were saying that didn't seem like he was around the culture towards the end. If heads could have surrounded him, I mean, there's probably some intimidation and some fear, but if heads surrounded him, said, yo, what's up? This is not right, bro. And then maybe then you could, the conversation. And if he still was resisting, like, man, you better get out of my face, then that's another thing. But we have to learn to, I think, also like doing a lot of Tai Chi, and the idea of the Tao is that it is this and it is that. It is this and it is that. And there's times where, I mean, like there's good things that came out of Red Bull BC1, right? Because now it's spread to the culture to more people, and more people, individuals have seen it. It gave dancers jobs. It gave some of our pioneers jobs, that sort of thing, and a whole bunch of clothing and stuff. I'm joking, but so we have both sides of the coin, and you got this duality that's always within all of us to make a better decision. And I think at this point, I think we're realizing that cancer culture is not the answer, and that maybe the conversations on, are you aware? Are we aware of what, I mean, like what we're doing? I'll stop there. But so yeah, that is a layered question on how do we go about that. For me, if I run into Red Bull, wanting to do something, if it's not a pioneer coming at me, because I know a pioneer, I'm gonna have a conversation with him and be like, yo, man, this is what I did back in the day. What you think? I have something to kind of stand on that was just a random thing that I did because I was feeling the spirit in the moment. And but I would love to have the conversation and be like, what is it now? And how are you seeing the younger generation coming up, and how is it diversifying their income? How's it diversifying, I mean, their craft? How are they integrating their craft into the world? You know, how is it informing, you know, things that they do? Or is it just like, yo, I used to do that hip hop thing and I'm done? Because that's not sustainable. So, so yeah, I think that would be my 2 cents on it, you know, as of now. And I think that's dope what you did. They got to cancel if it was an event that was not legit, and there was that conversation. And my man RJ, you just was like, yo, and then they had it shut down. That's power. That shows the power of us, man. And if we all agree, like on like can have like some sort of agreement, we have way more power in the hip hop community. Um, but when we all, but you know, just recognizing that, you know, the culture and what it is been is a lot of it is, you know, went through this exploitation that some of us have benefited from still, but now we're coming back to saying, okay, I don't need that exploitation anymore. I need to heal. I'm getting older, you know, or things like that. But I'll shut up. I'm getting long winded.
Back to you, Stephanie. If you wanted to respond and then pass the mic, and then anybody else that hasn't checked in can address the topic as well. This is a good one you brought up.
I think that's about it. I was just curious on y'all's input on that. I mean, it's besides Bambaataa himself, it's like, you know, other people besides him bringing harm into the community, and especially with people who knew about it and didn't do anything about it, you know. That's another issue at hand. I mean, that happens, you know, I hear all kinds of stories from people, especially a lot of women, who, you know, they were pushed aside into the shadows, and, you know, you don't hear from them no more, you don't see them, you don't, you know, all of that. Um, and because they don't want to be in that circle, they feel like it's not a safe space. So this whole thing with like providing a safe space for people, like, is importance for them. So yeah, but that's all I got to say in regarding to that. um Next person, I feel like I don't know how to say your name with the mustache. Mr. Big Les Worth.
Bigglesworth, aka Naeem.
Mm-hmm.
Welcome. Yep. So you can check in. You can address what's been said and introduce yourself. Good to see your face, bro.
Why, good day, or I don't know what time it is there by you guys. I came on quite late, so I didn't quite get the gist of it. All I heard was Red Bull, and what I know about Red Bull is that it contains bovine semen, you know, as does Monster. And a lot of sugar. And it's just such a wild coincidence that this semen product is at the forefront of, you know, hip hop and all the other wild things. Um, I'm no homophobic, don't get me wrong. Um, people is people is people. Um, but as we all know, culture has been, how do you say, exposed due to the dirty shit that's going on, you know, people on the DL. And the fact that semen is involved there is just, I don't know, it's just a wild thing that I've got in my head that I'm linking to it. I'm speculating. It's. I'm not saying It's all the way the truth. It's a conspiracy. La 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 la. It's just funny that these elements seem to, you know, coincide and hold hands and kumbaya. So yeah, I'm not too sure what I can say about that. What I can say is that shit, the hip hop is really fucking failing the people. Hip hop is failing the people. These young motherfuckers are still doing their and I don't know what the fuck they are speaking about. There's no message. It's all about lifestyle and killing and drugs, and it's the most remarkable sack of shit ever. There's no message. There's no positive message. There is no inspirational message. There is no message that makes people stand up. And that is a problem because we have a lot of problems, socio-economic problems, war, um, what do you call this?
Mental health.
Mental health, xenophobia, racism. Fuck me, bro. It's so much problems that needs to be addressed. And robustly. That is the core essence of hip hop. It's a robust genre of music, you know, next to rock and roll. I mean, there are no other genres that expresses themselves so explicitly and how do you call this, unapologetically. But that shit is not happening. That era has ended. Everybody's being led in a certain direction, and fuck, they're just going with the flow. Because the thing is this, there is no difference between the sheep and the shepherd. We are all the same. We have all the same minds. So why, and this is gonna be an age-old question, why are we not doing anything about it? The question is, was, and always will be, what are we going to do about the situation? That's my take on it. Hip hop is, nah man, it's failing. In my opinion, it's failing because the message is not as robust as it was way back when. Now we actually have something to fight for. We have something to revolt against. Why the fuck are we not using the platform to do that? What are they afraid of? Money being money or cancel culture? Who the fuck is gonna cancel you if everybody is with you? That's just my take on it. I don't know who else has spoken? I see Masterpiece iPhone. Man,
Masterpiece.
that
Yeah, so Masterpiece did speak before you hopped on. We haven't heard from, we haven't checked out with Wilson, Kiza, or Tracy is here, and we just popped in. So you can pass it to any one of them.
okay. Sorry about that. I'm gonna go with Kiza Eshizo. Did I say that properly? Where are you from, sir? Okay, Kiza's not coming on.
Actually, no, he's here. I think he checked out too. But go ahead, Kiza. You can introduce yourself.
I'm Kiza Ekisko. Can you hear me?
Mm-hmm.
The network is not good. I'm from Kenya, Kakuma refugee camp.
Kenya.
I work with ETC also. Yes.
Perfect. Lovely, my man.
Okay. Work with
So
YETC Youth Empowerment and Talent Center. We are doing education for orphans and vulnerable children. Also, we do talent development. In talent development, we do music dancer, music singer, comedy, drama, filmmaking, and modeling for girls to keep them with full confidence. And we do entrepreneurship also for vulnerable women. That is some of the activity we are doing in Kakuma refugee camp to empower fellow refugees so that to empower our youth through talent. Most of the youth have talent, but they don't not get the opportunity to showcase their talent. It is why YTC we have come to stand to showcase youth talent in Kakuma refugee camp so that they can shine and hold and they build confidence. We are doing an event for showcasing talent on Saturday at 4 p.m. Eastern African time every week. So anyone can come to join us. I have sent the link to Lisa, and if I can send it also in the chat, if you can save it, can be better.
you said you're doing that every week, or just this week?
Yeah. Yes, every week, Saturday.
Wow. Okay. Okay. Question for you, Kiza. Do you have like I think you had mentioned that you well, what are your main funding sources? Do you have fund?
Oh,
Mhm.
no, we don't have funding resources.
Okay.
We are doing only for free, but
Mhm.
we are thinking to once we get a fund, we can build a hub where the youth can showcase and have some of the creativity of youth or doing some of the tournament of youth talented.
Okay. Let's talk to Lisa. There's got to be a way that we can maybe through
See
Unity
how
Net.
the
Oh,
youth
sorry.
can bring their attention on that. So ourselves,
Yeah, I was just saying it would be great to have you guys to figure out how we can get you guys recognized as a chapter of Hip Hop Congress, because then we can put you out to any funders to support that. And if you have the documentation of the work that you're doing, it'd be great to include you on that. But there's a chapter onboarding process for that. Um, and we would probably just have to think about um, where we can fund the chapter dues, which is something that we can look into. All right, I saw Tracy on here. Welcome, Tracy. If you'd like to do a check in, check out. Glad you're able to make it. Introduce yourself to the folks in the room. Africa's like dominating this call, I have to say, and I know it's late over there for y'all. So big ups to all of y'all still on this call today. But Tracy, if yeah, go ahead and give us an update. This is all recorded, so we'll be able to
Oh
reference back to
yeah,
it.
Afrika.
Yeah, Africa. Big up for Africans. Yeah. My name is Tracy Kadada. I've been here. But lately I was telling you that I was doing my borderless African Humanist Tour for Artists. So I was going through different countries and I met with artists and farmers. So we were working together, making festivals, going to schools, teaching music, art, all that was creativity that came along. We worked together, did some album, and it was amazing. There was a lot of hip hop, reggae, and it was really nice. So I'm just introducing myself. My name is Tracy Kadada from Kenya. I'm a reggae artist, but I love hip hop too. I'm happy to be here once again. I'm back home. So every Saturday I'll be attending the session. And if you guys want to know what we did, I'll be happy to talk about it here, or I'll send you the link or the videos through email. Then maybe you can share with the rest of the people the coming Saturday what we did. But I'm happy to be back home here where I listen to people's view, and I like the idea that we got to give the message. Nowadays, people don't give message. People just sing about lifestyle, about money, about gangs, and that need to stop. We need to bring a message where especially we talk about peace, correct leaders, and life is not about material things. People should know that life is spiritual. So I was able to go to 9 different countries in Africa, and it was awesome. Awesome. And people out there with talent, it's just that they don't have a platform to showcase their talents. But I'm telling you, Africa is full of talents. So thank you once again for giving me this platform. Nice seeing you all.
Thank you for being here, and you are just kind of reinforced what was mentioned earlier about actually it was Tristan who's not on the call anymore, but out the DRC is creating a proposal to help connect visually where everybody is from. So folks like you who are doing tours and everything, like we one can get familiar with each other, and folks on the same continent can know of the work that we're doing, so that you can create those those connecting points. It's funny, I saw something online that just talked about how like the worst thing that colonialism did to Africa was make people on the same continent think that they were foreigners to each other, which is deep. And so this is breaking down those barriers. And I love what Master P said about the only nation I want to be a part of is the imagination. That's gold right there. We have not checked out with Wilson. So Wilson, if you want to say the last few words, and then I can wrap up the call here with my checkout. But Wilson, are you there? It is all good if you aren't able to unmute. Um, so I will just say this is one of the best calls, my favorite calls in a long time. And every call I feel like that after every call, but this one particularly, the topics that were raised, the folks that were here, the input that they gave. Thank you, LaCour and Masterpiece and Emil. I love that y'all are all part of the same like crew and y'all just Voltroned on this call today because y'all bring so much um, conscious power to the call. So much love to y'all. And Man, there's a lot. Like so one I got to plug Hip Hop Community again because this is the platform that Hip Hop Congress and Hip Hop Education Center, which is Martha Diaz and folks, we came together to create this platform for the professionalization of hip hop education and educators, as well as the grassroots organizing aspect of it. So it's really a top down, bottom up platform. Congress being for the organizers and really contributing that part. So and then of course we have as part of that platform, which I put in the link, we have a speakers bureau for professionals like many of you are. That you know you can do a freemium subscription, which is no cost, and that's for the grassroots organizing. But then if you are a professional and you want to be part of the speakers lab, where institutions can book you and things like that, and you can put your links to your products and stuff like that. That is also a feature of the platform. So at the very least, check it out. We have an events calendar that's up there that's open to anybody that joins and has events going on. And yeah, it's the latest manifestation. We launched it last year, and we're currently, going through audits and things. We have over 100 members so far, but we're always looking to expand that with folks that are doing the potent work. So check that out, hiphopcu.org. Like I said, we'll be putting out a newsletter. It'll be you'll be able to opt into both the Hip Hop Congress newsletter, Hip Hop Education Center newsletter, and Hip Hop Community newsletter, and or whichever one that you are interested in keeping updated with. So that will go out soon. And yeah, I think it's just such interesting times right now. I got a lot out of this call around the topic of Black Joy. I think it's really easy when you're in a position of trying to organize to like was said, is like to just get into the seriousness of like the work and trying to um you know uh, do all the administrative work and going after the funding and everything can really kind of lower your spirit, especially when it's like you put all this work in and there's no guarantee. But it was really great to hear that like at the end of the day it's like don't lose your joy. And I think that's something that I'm going to take with me on this call to really get back into, because I was beginning to kind of like just keep my joy to myself in my rhyme writing and all of that. But this inspired me to see my artistry not just as a therapeutic thing for me, but as a crucial aspect of this movement work as well. And so thank y'all for regrounding me in that. Um, with that being said, we will. I'm hoping that this gets. I know this meeting is recorded, but I'm hoping it goes to Anita's phone or computer where it's at, because I did not want to lose this conversation. I want to go back and share some of this. But we do have all of these calls get uploaded to YouTube. It's on an unlisted page, but they get shared on Hip Hop CU as well on the feed. So we can always reference it, but this is the track record of the growth and everything that we're doing. And so I appreciate you guys taking the time to share your parts of the days with us on this forum. We went 3 hours today, and we'll be back at it next Saturday at the same time, 12 p.m. Pacific, 3 p.m. Eastern, and wherever that time zone aligns with you where you're at on the continent. I know it's late over there, and I appreciate y'all spending the time with us today. So we'll see you hopefully on the Hip Hop CU, Hip Hop Communiversity. It'd be great to build that family on there. And follow up with any one of us. Emil is on our executive committee. We got our conference August 28th through 30th in Sacramento, hosted by Auburn Hip Hop Congress chapter. So if you happen to be out in this area, mark that on your calendar here in Cali. And also too, we did kind of upgrade our website. For those of you who haven't been on hiphopcongress.com in a while, you'll see that it has a new look. It's a lot more simplified as far as the artists and the links to our resources on there. So I'll share that in the chat. And with that being said, share any links that you want in this chat here before we sign off, and contacts, and follow each other on social media. And have a great weekend, y'all. Hopefully you got an extra day with the holiday. If you're in the States, enjoy that day off. And much love.
Peace, brother. Thank you for the kind words.
Yes, sir. Yes,
Thanks for the
sir.
knowledge.
Cheers,
Thanks for
peace.
doing what you do.
It's yes, it's worth it. You know, it's we do. It's a volunteer job, but it pays dividends
Through this.
in
Keep well.
Yeah, I see it. All right, bro. Good to see you. We'll talk soon.
All right.
Salute.
Okay, for sure. Peace.
Peace.
Peace out.
Peace out.
All right, cheers.
Peace,
Everyone,
Good
much
night, everybody.
Bye, guys.
Guys.
yes,
I look you.
yes. Everybody, much love. Legends in this
For real, this was
uh
legendary. This is a
oh
legendary meeting of the minds.
yeah, but I'm a as they would say in South Africa, I'm a kotsoki. Kotsoki basically means a short sock, for that matter, amongst you guys. And
Awesome.
I don't really have a mustache. I just thought it would be cool because I can't grow a mustache of my own.
I saw
So
it going in and out, and I was like, "Is that for real?" That's hilarious.
yeah, man. But much love to all of you guys. Thank you once again for allowing me the opportunity to express myself. As I always say, I ain't nobody, but you guys make me feel like somebody.
Hey.
So thank you, man.
All right, brother.
All right,
Blessings
y'all.
to you.
Guys,
Be well.
Kalama Goose.
Peace.